Here we go again. Alright, made another steep one. Gonna try to make it up this big one again. This one isn't as nice as the other one, so here we go.
By me like I was going back.
I know.
And he's wearing Crocs.
I know. Made it. So last year we went on a trip to Yellowstone, and what it was we thought we would let the girl who's going to graduate, our daughter, pick the trip. plenty of trips. I mean, it could have been Disneyland. It could have been maybe Hawaii. I don't know. It could have been anywhere. She picked Yellowstone. I was not against that because I've always wanted to go. Not because of the show, just because of the mountain men and the western lore that kind of go with it. So we're headed to Yellowstone. We had to pick a date. The date actually worked out because we actually, the date my son had a soccer tournament. I hear people yelling. Hope that's not in my head. Never know. But so he had a soccer tournament in Fargo, North Dakota, and so we went, well, you know what? Let's do it then. This is in June, and start of June, I think. I think it's the end of June, and we decided to go on that date. On the last day, we would actually go to Billings, which turned out to be kind of it was cool, but it was the weather that it was like a scene from open range when the storm comes in, because we could see this storm for miles and miles. No rain. We were zigzagging kind of by it. It was bright and sunny on the right, and it was kind of clear on the left, but this storm was right in the middle, and it was pretty cool until we got there, until we actually hit it. We started getting rain and then little pea-sized hail. We just pulled over at a gas station and waited it out a little bit. It was crazy. Cool, great photos came out of that whole deal, but it was neat. Is we stayed in Billings, and then we drove into Yellowstone that day. And I will say this, if some roads in Yellowstone apparently can get blocked off for, I really don't know. Google is pretty slow at telling you if they are open or not, so find a different way. Don't go by Google Maps. They told us it was closed and it never reopened. I can't remember the town we were in, but they had a sign that said all roads open to Yellowstone. I kind of trusted that more, so we went that route. We actually stayed in the Canyon Village. We stayed in Yellowstone both times. Canyon Village and, hold on, I want to get this right, Yellowstone Lake Lodge. Now there's camping there. You can tent camp. I saw RVs there. You can stay outside the park. We just tended to want to be able to kind of get up and go. I think it was a little bit more spendy because you're in the park. Everything is more spendy in the park. Gas was like $1 something more, but we just wanted that experience, so that was our whole deal. We stayed inside the park. Both places were great. I will say Yellowstone Lake was a little bit more, I think it was older. Canyon Lodge was newer, no AC, all fans, but still really, really nice. Now, as far as Yellowstone, you're going to see a lot of, if you've never been there, you're going to see a lot of sulfur pits, or smell a lot of sulfur. You're going to have bubbling mud. You're going to have bubbling geysers. It's all cool. You may get tired of seeing bubbling mud and shooting geysers. The wildlife that we saw, really, bison. Yeah. We saw some bison at the Biscuit Basin, and that was pretty cool. There was also some other place we stopped, but he was sitting right on top of a sulfur geyser. It's really an experience. If you know anything about last year they had a one of the, at the Biscuit Basin actually, it erupted. It let go. You can Google Biscuit Basin on YouTube, and you'll see the explosion from that that scene. And I guess it's still closed today. As of today, it's still closed. Kind of scary, but really interesting, because like I was telling my kids, you probably saw it looking like that for the last time, because it did explode pretty well. But that was pretty cool. And the boardwalk, I guess, exploded too with it. So yeah, luckily nobody was hurt, but that happened a week after we were there. So the Biscuit Basin was cool. Of course, Grand Prismatic was awesome. That has a whole different look because of the colors. This is actually another tragic story, but there was a bison that fell into the Grand Prismatic, I think it was, and a bunch of people saw it. Just keep in mind, these are animals. They've probably done this for thousands of years, and anywho. But yeah, it was a really fun trip. It's just the sights and sounds out there are really cool. Was it busy? Not so much for us. We didn't run into like a lot of bison even on that held up traffic. We didn't run into a lot of people that we always found a spot to park and everything. I think the only one that we had a tough time was the I think it's called the steamboat geyser, and that took us a little bit of going around, I think once or twice, and then we found a spot. Even at Old Faithful, it wasn't bad. We waited for the Old Faithful to come and go. Happened. And then we couldn't wait for the Grand, I think it's called the Grand Geyser, to go, and we got a little antsy, and we got up and left. We got halfway around the thing, and also it let go, and it's way bigger. I would say wait for that one. But everything in Yellowstone was really pretty cool. The best scenery, I would say, was the Grand Canyon of Yellowstone. I think this is the one. Actually, I think we did it a couple times, twice for sure. Cody and I went off path, and I'll be honest, I'm really grateful that we did. Of course, he blows past me, and I did not expect it to be that steep nor long, but I was really glad that I did that. cold down here though. Oh wow. Yellowstone is an amazing place. If you've never been, I highly recommend it. This is a kudos to my wife, chaotic mom. She planned it all out. She planned out where we were going to stay, what we were going to do, where we were going to stay, and what we were going to do, and made it very comfortable and easy for all of us to do. And one thing I will say is I had a recommendation. I asked where we were going to leave, and we were leaving at the Cody, Wyoming side. I actually just finished a book, audiobook, Liver Eating Johnstone. Same Jeremiah Johnson that Robert Redford played. Same person. He's a real person. And I just finished this book, and at the end of the book they said they got him from California. A bunch of students in the 70s found that his body was buried in, I think, California by some overpass or some garbage, and they got him to be relocated in Cody, Wyoming. Cody, Wyoming has him there. So I suggested we go to Old Town. It's like they preserved old cabins and stuff like that, and it is really cool. So let's talk about Old Town. Old Town, you get there, there's a bunch of old buildings there, and in each building it's almost like a little museum amongst themselves. What's cool is that they dress them up as mountain men cabins, Old West hideouts for outlaws, stuff like that. And they actually have Jeremiah Johnstone Museum in there. They actually show his burial, they show his real pictures, they show some of his, I believe, some of the goods that he may have had. Really cool museum, and I was so glad that everybody enjoyed it as much as I did. I did not know how my kids were gonna do with it, because it's kind of my thing, and they thoroughly enjoyed it. And then we went to the Buffalo Bill Cody Museum, which was also super cool. The cool thing about that is it's everything Old West, from the pioneering days to Buffalo Bill Cody's old shows, to guns, everything. The one thing that I really was impressed with is I'm a big fast draw guy, and I was in the sport of fast draw for 10 years, and one of my, I don't want to say idols, but the guy that I started watching before I even got into fast draw was Bob Munden. My dad and I would stop and watch him on Shooting USA every single, I think it was Saturdays. We made sure at 10 o'clock we'd watch, make sure he was on, watch it, and just, he was the coolest. And he was a great entertainer. They have a great display for him and his wife Becky, and it was just cool to see. It was cool to see the guns, the holsters, the boots, the glasses. The one regret I do have is they had one for Tom Knapp. He's actually kind of a local guy here, and was a local guy here in Minnesota that did trick shooting with 22s and shotguns. I actually was fortunate enough to do a demonstration out in I think it was Little Falls, Minnesota, for a game fair, and I got to meet him. I got to kind of walk with him and a friend of mine. We had coffee with him, and but they had a great, back to the regret, is I did not take a picture of his display. It was cool. It had his shotguns, his 22s, all sorts of stuff. But the museum was awesome. If you ever get a chance, go to that. Be sure to check out the Old Town Museum too. That was just as cool to me. And we just had a fantastic trip out in Yellowstone, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know it's kind of chaotic, but yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the footage and all that kind of stuff. Hope this video found you guys well. I hope you guys have a great week, and yeah, tell me if you've been to Yellowstone, if you enjoyed it, or if I missed something. You take care, guys. Bye now.